Sorry about the delay. I apologize to my goldfish and my cat who watches these lives, man. Let's get into it. So, the bill that Joe Biden had presented to like relieve student debt got swatted, right? It was too good to be true anyway. Like, yeah, I get it. People are salty because they're like, I can't pay back my student loans. I mean, it was a bad deal from the jump, Like I ain't gonna sit here and cap. I'm shocked that other people didn't see it coming. Like, I'm gonna be real with y'all. Like, what kind of loan? What kind of loan is a loan that you can't tap out of through bankruptcy? Like, you can tap out of bankruptcy for business loans, personal lines of credit, home equity lines of credit. You can file for bankruptcy for everything except for child support, as far as money that you owe and money that you owe the IRS. Everything else, fair game. Fair game for bankruptcy. And like a lot of people went to college for useless degrees that they're stuck paying these degrees back. They're stuck paying these colleges back, and it's a real bad deal. Our country, I feel like, is going to fall apart because like people aren't going to be able to pay these. It's going to get passed on to your children, and it's like, what do you do? I blame the guidance counselors. I don't know what your experience was in high school when you were about to go to college, and like you're in study hall, and they're coming over to you. The recruiters from these colleges, they're coming over to you during study hall and during lunch. They're setting up their little booths, pretty much to screw you, right? And you're like, oh, hey there, Billy. How would you like to go to Take Your Money University? And then Billy's like, oh, what degrees do you have? It's like, oh, we have sociology. Don't you want associates in psychology that you can do nothing with? Because if you don't got a PhD in psychology, you're not going to make no paper. You're going to be, at best a social worker. And no, this is no diss to social workers, but I'm glad that you're helping the community. It's just not worth 100 bands of student tuition debt that you can't tap out of. I mean, I've never even heard of anything like that. Like, imagine what $100,000 would do for you in cash, right? And instead, a lot of people are walking around, with debt instead of the money. I'll take the money. I don't know about y'all. I'll take the cash. I'm not gonna take the debt. But if somebody got 100 racks for me, I'll go make that work. You might see me on the news later on that week, but I'll totally make that shake. No hesitation. Might be muling a little bit, but I gotta calm down. It's a family show. But for real, honestly, imagine if somebody gave you $100,000, $80,000. College is getting expensive. It wasn't nowhere near this expensive. Well, it was close. It was close. It was like 32 a year. Now it's 50, and that's normal, right? And so like they set you up for failure. It's a setup. Like, even when you're going on college tours, right? They tell you about like all of the amenities that their college has to offer. They're like, oh yeah, we have a ski lounge. Don't you like skiing at Colorado University? We have all these spas, all these trails, these clubs around here, and you get a discount. And it's like, yeah, you get a discount, but they're double dipping, right? Because they get your money already for college tuition. You're buying the books from their student store. You're eating in their cafeteria, So they're putting their hand in it every single step of the way with zero hesitation. It's outrageous. And then they tell you it's going to be a discount, but it's like every time you go to the ski lounge, every time you go to a club, or you go to a function, and meeting up with your friends, you're like, yeah, I got 15% off, but they're getting a kickback from you paying. The school is getting a kickback because you're going. You know how they have those what do you call those when it's like affiliate links? Yeah, it's kind of like an affiliate link, except it's for the college, and it's easy money. It's real easy money. And I know there were a lot of students that like thugged it out. And when I say thugged it out, it's not that you're walking around shooting people, but you just wrote it out on the bare bones. You weren't out here going out to eat 4 times a week. You just ate, ramen noodles, tuna, beans, and rice. You got your degree. You weren't out here partying, buying all kinds of bottles. You weren't out here living a luxurious lifestyle. You live within your means. And I feel like a lot of people really didn't do that. A lot of people were living the high life. Me personally, I didn't go to college. I'm not gonna sit here and cap. When they came to me and they told me it was gonna cost 32 to 36,000 a year, and I was like, oh, how am I gonna pay for that? Because I don't know about y'all, right? I grew up with a wooden spoon. It is what it is. All right. I'm like, how am I gonna pay for that? They're like, oh yeah, you'll take out a loan. I was like, a loan? I didn't even have a credit card at this point, mind you, right? But they're willing to give me like 120, $100,000. They're willing to give me $90,000, but I don't even have a credit card to my name yet. I didn't even have credit, right? And I just knew in my bones that I was not going to be able to pay that back. Like every cell in my body knew that if I take this money, I am toast. And so I didn't take it, man. I went to community college, figured myself out, and thank God, because I was switching majors and stuff, tried business management, accounting, criminal justice. I tried all that crap until I found IT. And guess what? For tech, you don't even have to go to school. All the information is readily available on the internet. So, if anyone's ever interested in getting into tech, definitely go ahead and take that plunge. You can find courses on Coursera, freecodecamp.com. There's multiple Reddit groups that are dedicated for providing people information and providing people a space to communicate, to learn about technology, learn about coding, to learn about different databases, to learn about different like different scripting languages. It's very helpful, right? And so I was able to get a job without a degree. I had a little moment, a little moment before I found my beautiful girl who gave me my beautiful family. I had a little sugar mama action going on. I was like real young. I was like 19, 20. I think I was 20. Yeah, 2021. Just turned 21. And so she had like this real high paying job. I talked about it in the other videos. I'm gonna keep this short. But yeah, so pretty much like she was trying to polish me up for her parents, and I was serving tables, right? And so she worked at cybersecurity. She told me how to get an entry level IT position. So I just took her advice, and as you can see, I'm pretty good with my soft skills. I ended up getting a job at Comcast doing tech support, right? And it was history ever since. Once you get one job, in corporate or inside an office setting, whenever you apply to other places, they don't even care about the degree. They care more so about the experience. And if you look on the job applications on Indeed, on LinkedIn, on Monster.com, that they make that clear that they're looking for experience, right? If you have experience, they'll overlook the no degree. So I feel like this is one thing that a lot of people either overlooked or they didn't know. And you're young, you're 18, bro, and I hate that these guidance counselors like fed us to the sharks, right? And it's kind of messed up because our guidance counselors at our high school fed us to the sharks with no incentive, like as far as them personally, right? So let's say that my guidance counselor is sitting down and I'm trying to figure out what to do with my life. And she points to a poster behind her to go to Screw You Over University. You know what I'm saying? If I agree to go to that university, she doesn't get a kickback, right? She might look good for numbers, right? She might look good, but no money from that college that I'm paying is going into her pocket. So why are you trying to screw me over and lead me astray? And it's kind of like taking advantage of our youth because you don't know anything about life. Like I'm 28 years old and I strongly feel like I'm just now learning what it's like to actually be like a man and a high functioning adult, and then not so much as far as like, oh, you can't pay your bills. It's like, nah, 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 nah. You being able to put a good amount towards savings, getting your 401k looking good, your Roth IRA looking good, you messing with stocks and bonds, you learning how to fix your own car, you learning how to, navigate in the corporate world. Like it don't matter what type of degree you have, bro. If you don't know how to navigate in a corporate setting and kiss ass and, send those nice polite emails and play the game, you won't get pushed forward. Like the degree really doesn't matter. And I hate to say it, what you do at work doesn't really matter. The hardest workers often don't get promoted. It's normally the kiss asses or the people that are the most social, the people that are constantly on teams just messaging, good morning everyone. I hope everyone's doing great. We're gonna have a wonderful day. Like those people get promoted, but they don't tell you that in college. And they also don't emphasize on the student debt, on the importance of paying back the student debt. The professors just want you to be in the seat, and the colleges just want you to be in the seat because they're paying the professors. And these guidance counselors, I feel like just really screwed us over. I thank God every day that I did not take that money, man. I thank God every day because people are hurting, bro. Rightfully so. Like if you have student debt, right? And some of them student debts, they be like $400, $500 a month. You don't even get to the principal for like 7 years, like crazy, right? So if you have student tuition, right, you're an adult, graduated, you're 24, 25 now, you're starting to date, you're starting to really be a functioning adult, right? You have student loans, right? $400 or $500. All right, we'll call it four. Let's be nice. And then you have a car note. The average car note is $750. You can Google it, but we'll be nice. We'll say that your car note is five, right? So that's $900 every single month you have to pay. You didn't even pay rent yet. Then we'll get to rent. The average apartment nowadays is like another $900. So that's $1,800 a month for student loans, your car note, and for rent. And that's not even including, you putting gas in your car. It's not including credit cards, any other personal debts, any medical bills you may have laying around. You might like to travel like most people do. It's not accounting for life. And I feel like when we were younger, they didn't really train us for life properly. Or at least not in public school. Like I went to a regular public school, because I didn't go to private school. Private school is probably a little bit different, and they also groom you in private school because that's the way the game goes. I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like college in general is it's for the wealthy. It's a game for the wealthy. It's for a place for them to go. They go to the most prestigious universities or to a really good university. Oftentimes their parents pay for it, right? So you're like struggling. A lot of people be working when they come from like lower class families. They'll work a job 4 or 5 days a week and then be a full-time student while their roommate Timmy over here or Alfredo. I'm an idiot. Yeah, little Alfredo over here, his parents are paying for everything. He didn't have to pay a dime. He's not worried about student loan debt, doesn't have to worry about his car note, rent, food, none of that. He's just coasting, focusing on his studies. And you're like expected to compete with that, right? And I'm not saying you can't compete because we don't have a victim mindset over here, but you have to understand when someone has an edge and when they don't, So you just have to think. You have to think critically, include that inside your game plan, And I feel like a lot of people just did not prepare properly. I don't know why I do know why Joe Biden introduced this and why he made such a big deal about it. In 2020, he ran off it in the election, which I get it, right? You're a Democrat. You need like, the minorities and the people that are struggling to pull for you and to run to the polls. And you know what'll make people run to the polls? Student debt, reparations, and other free incentives. And everybody bid on it, man. They bid hook, line, and sinker, and they fell for it. And you know what? He said he was going to do it. He signed the bill. He smiled next to the bill. He puffed his chest out, with all the 80 of those gray hairs on his upper chest. And he was like, we're going to do it, and he didn't do it. The U.S. Supreme Court was like, get that shit out of here. We ain't passing nothing in my house. This is my house. The Supreme Court was playing no games, bro. The Supreme Court was playing no games because they knew it was some BS, right? Because that's a lot of money. You're gonna relieve hundreds of millions of dollars of student loan debt when that's the best play the government has, right? That's the most profitable thing they have because that interest that you're paying on, dude, like property taxes, your tolls for traveling, taxing goods and services, that is nothing compared to student loan debt. Like they were making a big old bag off that, like for real. I would argue some of that money is getting sent over to the Ukraine. It probably came from student debt. I ain't gonna lie to you, right? And so people were crying and they're like, we're struggling. I can't feed my family. People are upset. And people don't care. The government doesn't care. It was just a play that everybody fell for it. It was a play action, and they're like, we're running it, psych, we're throwing it. And touchdown. He's in office. He got a repeat too. Like I don't know why people thought they were actually going to relieve student loan debt, man. And people will make fun of people that not make fun of people, but people frown upon trades, construction workers, because they're dirty, they're grimy, they're like, oh no, don't be a dirty construction worker. Man, if a plumber or an electrician leaves your house, you're gonna feel every single wire, every pipe they replace in your house because they're billing and it's not gonna be pretty. Okay. If you have to get your outside plumbing replaced, you might have to get a second job just so when you flush, the poop goes out the house. Because, if a pipe collapses outside, it's going back up in the crib. Like who wants 6 inches of poo in their basement? Like and even home ownership, bro. Home ownership is kind of a scam too nowadays. Like you can't really they make it so hard for you to get ahead and to get over, right? Because with the house situation and like it's getting even harder to buy a house because of these student loan debts. But with the house situation, let's say you pay off your house and you're like, I'm debt free, thank God. You still have a house even though your house is paid off. You're still paying on that house because you have to pay property taxes and you have to pay insurance. And guys, I swear I do this for a living. I promise you. People call me about loans all day. So this is why I'm like, qualified to talk about this. When you pay your house off, you have to pay your taxes and your insurance forever, until for all eternity, until that house is still standing. And even then, for the land, if the house were to crumble into rubble and it was just grass, right? You still have to pay for that land. The taxes might be a lot lower. You might not need insurance, but you still have to pay. And a lot of times the taxes and insurance is more than people's principal and interest for their mortgage. But it's a shame, bro. These student loans are, really hamstringing people from being able to be homeowners, because that used to be like the American dream. A lot of people, they sold that to us in the 1940s. They were like, yeah, I'm going to get a house and the white picket fence and I'm going to be in a cul-de-sac. And everybody just kept buying it and buying it and buying it. And like, I'm going to be honest with you right now. If my son were going to college, I have a 2-year-old son. I would tell him, son, we need one or two things, if not both. We need for you to pick a sport. And, I work out a lot. This is a fitness health channel for mental health, emotional health, and physical health. But I'm really into sports. I work out a lot. I'm going to be like, look, man, we got to get you a full ride to college for both athletics and for academics. Okay. Your future is going to depend on this because I'm not going to be able to pay for it unless I can. If YouTube pops off or if I start a business and I can, I'll totally pay for it. Right now, there's no way in hell I'm going to be able to pay for my son's college tuition. It's just not happening, right? I don't have the 100 bands in my pocket. Like, I just don't. So I'm going to be like, look, man, we got to get this scholarship because if not, you are going to be screwed. And I would tell him, do not take the money out. Join a trade, get a CDL. Like, do something, man. Do something. I feel for these people. I really feel for these people. A lot of people are heartbroken, disappointed. And like some people have degrees you can't do nothing with, man. Like you can't do nothing with like a culinary arts degree. You can't do nothing with a sociology degree, with a geography. What do you call it? Geographical studies. Yeah, you can't do nothing with that. Like what? Like what? Like some of these degrees are just a setup. There was one school, it was called like Stanford Business. It wasn't even Stanford University. They just ripped off the name and it was called Stanford Business School. And pretty much they had this program. It was a 2-year program and you would get your associates in the end. And you pretty much were just going to be a glorified secretary for after 2 years, and you had dorms and cafeterias and everything, just like a normal college. Except when you leave college, you really can't get a job. So they make you pay 60 grand, 80 grand, and you leave, you come out, you making $17 an hour at best. It's just getting tough out here. I hope that somebody else gets in office and knows what they're doing. But more importantly, I hope that the masses can kind of see what's going on and notice the manipulation. And it's kind of sad because a lot of people that don't make a lot of money, and I'm not talking down to people that don't make a lot of money because I don't let the lights in the backdrop. All this is new. A lot of this stuff that you're seeing, the high quality camera, everything. All of this is new. I'm broke too. I'm right here with y'all. I'm just out here hustling. You know what I'm saying? Y'all might be right next to me hustling. And those that ain't, y'all probably just watching me, right? But I feel like a lot of people that don't make a lot of money don't realize that like you don't have that much power, right? So they're just making plays. And one of the biggest plays to manipulate a person is debt. So if someone tells you we're going to give you something for nothing and you'll be debt free, you're thinking, "Oh, yay, we just have to push and get this person through and we're home free." And you don't think about the repercussions of that because they're always going to circle back. There is nothing in life that is ever going to be free, and I tell people on my channel, somebody offers you something for free, bro, you better run because what they're going to do is they're going to do the first lap, right? And they're going to run up to you. Hey, my name's Bob. How would you like a free car? How would you like the best one, the best example I could think of? And they got my girl with this. And I was so salty. She was shopping. She was grocery shopping. She got the baby distracted, sleep deprived. This is when we first got the baby, which being a parent is awesome. If anybody is wondering, being a parent super dope. EJ Daddy, love you if you're watching this. But yeah, she in the grocery store getting her broccoli, her cucumbers, her carrots for her salad. You know what I'm saying? She trying to be on her hot girl ish. And then this dude comes over, ma'am, excuse me, ma'am. How would you like to lower your electricity bill? And so, we'll give you a $50 Amazon gift card. She came home, showed me the paper. I was like, oh, hell no. I was like, we canceling this off rip. And it's not the fact that it wouldn't lower our electricity bill. And I'll get into what play that is and why they position it that way. But like, no one will ever walk up to you and say, "Hey, how would you like something for free? How would you like something to go down?" When people talk like that, they're gonna circle back after the first lap, because the first lap they approach you, you sign the paperwork, and then the second lap they hit you with additional fees and the hidden cost behind it, and it's much higher than anticipated. It's one of the oldest tricks in the book. But yeah, we canceled it, and like I think it was like 9 months later, someone had explained to me that what they do is that they limit your electricity usage inside your apartment or inside your house. So, especially when the wintertime comes, all of your appliances are getting used. You're heating up your house. We don't have gas. We don't have like furnaces. Everything's electric, inside our apartment building. So they might, have a governor or a limiter on how much electricity we can use, which is a big no-no. And I'm pretty sure there's a window where you can go back and you can cancel it. But once you're past that window, you probably either have to pay an X amount of dollars and if you have to pay that, it's to the point to where you might as well keep it, because then there would be no incentive for you to keep it. So they hit you with the fee, or you have to ride it out till your contract ends. And that's just the reality of the situation, man, is that like people don't be paying attention and they hear free, free, free. We'll give you something for nothing, and they next thing you know, you're screwed. You open up the door and it's just a dude with some Vaseline, and it's time to bend over. And that's kind of what's happening to our millennials. This was happening to our Generation Z. They're opening up the door and it's just a dude with some Vaseline. You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy, man. It's real crazy. And what made me not want to get a college degree was like I seen people with degrees at my job. Like I said, I used to serve tables, and serving tables is one of the biggest traps. Although it can get you through college and high school if you need a good job and some fast money. But there were people that just graduated, like college, and like it's been like 2 years, 3 years, and they're not going anywhere. So I'm like, man, I don't know what they're doing, but I got to get up out of here. And B, I don't know what they're going to school for, but I really need to think twice before going to college because, some of these people were highly intelligent. There was a girl I worked with. She had a master's in chemistry and she was still serving tables. It was unbelievable. And there are tons of people with like really good degrees, right? From great universities, Penn State, freaking Ohio State, really good colleges that have some weight to them. And they do nothing with the degree. And they're like, oh, no one will hire me. And you ask them how many applications they filled out. I filled out like 40. No one will call me, or they'll have interviews off of those 40 applications and they won't get hired. Like these days, filling out 40 job applications, 50 job applications, those days are over, right? You have to fill out like 400. Like if you have a STEM degree in tech, it's going to take hundreds of job applications. Trust me, I know, especially if you don't have a degree. It's hard to get through the door. But once you get in the door, you have the experience, the degree really loses a lot of importance to the recruiter or to the hiring manager. But and I'm not downplaying college. A lot of people like to downplay college education. I do think college is important, but I also think that like 10 years later, you're gonna forget most of that crap anyway. And a lot of the classes that you take, that they force you to take, or they don't give you that stupid piece of paper. They don't give you that stupid piece of paper. All those classes they force you to take, you don't use, and the ones that are important, you forget anyway. Because like your job, right, or your field that you went to school for, they just give you like the meat and potatoes, I feel like, of the subject or of the industry, right? And then so you think you know how to do a job. And then you go to a company and they teach you how to do that job. And it's like that for every company you go to. It doesn't matter how many places you've worked doing the same job or what level you've been on. They have a certain way of doing things in corporations. That's why they have training. And every company does things a little bit different and it's catered specifically for their corporate structure. And they put a lot of money behind it. So it's like, on one hand, college is important, but it's like, it's not always going to be cookie cutter. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not always going to use everything in college at your job. And a lot of it's going to go to waste. It's unfortunate. They don't tell you that, man. They really don't tell you that. But not to be all, depressing about it, but like college was a BS play, man. They got us. They got everybody. I know my sister, she went to law school and she's trying to study for the bar. She got a master's degree. I'm looking at her crazy, right? Because she ain't passed the bar yet. I'm like, you really trying to be a lawyer? Which I'm proud of her. Not to get it twisted. I'm not being a hater, but she owed like 175 bands. And like, she just laughed when I told her that. I was like, that is insane. And she's like, oh, you don't pay your student loans back. You die with it. Ha ha ha. I'm like, you die with it? I'm like, good. I'm like, are you serious? She's like, yeah. Then she just kept laughing some more. Like it's normal. That shouldn't be normal. Um, I don't know, man. It's just my personal opinion. I just think it's wild and it's out of pocket. And like a lot of people are trying to make this like pretty racial because this happened right around the time that they stopped doing the affirmative action with like the college applicants and them making sure that they get a certain demographic by race. They got rid of that. So this is like the perfect storm. These student loan debts, removal of affirmative action, you combine that and then now you got like you pissed off the beehive. You have all minorities, black people tripping out, people blaming systematic racism. It's just real crazy, dog. And I hate to say it, I know they're gonna find a way to spin this into it being racial, and it's just not. It's simply decision making. Like there's nothing racial about you signing a Sally Mae loan or paperwork for a Sally Mae loan and agreeing to not be able to file bankruptcy or to tap out of this loan. This is yours now. There's nothing racial about that. You could have chose not to do it. You could have chose to wait. I mean, it's just sad. And like I said, I work in the mortgage and banking industry, and so I talk to people. I work in like the servicing department, so it's like glorified customer service. So if you need anything with your documents, you don't understand something with your taxes, your insurance, your property appraisal, any of that, I'm the guy that has to present that to you on a forefront, and I'm quite efficient. I'm good at what I do. But like the general basis of it, what I'm trying to say is these people don't know what they're signing. They don't take the time to read, right? Especially when you get a house. Like people for these loans are not reading the paperwork and it is killing them. I'll be on the phone with people and they're like, oh, I didn't know this happened with my mortgage. In the mortgage industry specifically, they have this thing called an ARM loan. So, and this is where we get the most escalated calls and the most pissed off customers. It's a 7-year ARM loan. ARM stands for adjustable rate mortgage. So pretty much what that means is the loan could be for like 15 years or maybe a little less, maybe a little bit more, but it's more than 7 years. After that 7 years, you have your rate can adjust. It can go up, it can go down. It all depends on how the economy's doing. Our economy is doing absolutely awful. It's doing terrible. So when the economy does poorly, the rates go through the roof. And that's exactly what's happening. So people are losing their shirt, they're losing their house, they're losing their car, all because they didn't read the paperwork. When you read and you ask questions and you get external evaluations like a lawyer, a paralegal to review these documents, this allows you to be more aware of what you're signing, of the terms and conditions, and that allows you to make an informed decision. And pretty much what I'm saying is that not only the people that signed up for those mortgages or those loans not understand, the children in high school also didn't understand either. So to me, it just doesn't make sense. Like it's a shame, man. It's a shame. Like I honestly think college is for the wealthy, and me personally, there's no reason. Well, there is a reason. It's for money. But if you take money out of the equation, which in America is just not physically possible, it's not it's not possible. But if you take money out of the situation, there is no reason why all of these colleges or even the government can't create some type of program for learning free of charge. Like, why does learning and knowledge cost $100,000? Like, I get it. We have to pay something. Like, you always have to pay something. But does it have to be 100 grand? Does it have to be, a loan that you can't tap out of? Is that really necessary? That's abusing the system. Like, to be fair, it's abusing the system, and you can manipulate the people very easily. And when you can manipulate people, you have power. I didn't know how important politics was, and this isn't a political channel. This channel is about improving your physical health, your mental health, and your emotional health. And I make some entertainment videos as well because I like to make people laugh, and I love being goofy. It gives me a chance to blow off steam, and I hate being so serious on here. But I didn't understand the importance of politics until stuff like this came up. Because if you put the wrong person in office, then they're going to start making poor decisions, and they're going to start, bluffing, like Joe Biden with the student loan thing. He knew from the jump that wasn't going to get passed. Like seriously. And so I'm like, man, this is a problem. This is a major problem. Some things are going to change, right? So I hope you guys are adapting, because when you adapt and you change with the society, when you change with the game, you have a better chance of winning. The players that always lose or the ones that can't adapt to change. You ever see somebody play one Call of Duty because they come out with a new Call of Duty every single year, even 2K, right? They changed the hit markers on Call of Duty. There was one Call of Duty where forever we were always on the ground. They released a Call of Duty where you had jetpacks. People lost their minds. Same thing with 2K. I used to play 2K a bunch. I think it was until 2K21, and they just took away the 3-point shot completely. I couldn't adjust, so I kept getting beat, and I ended up stopped playing. I ain't played 2K since. And yeah, that's kind of what happens. Same thing with life, man. Life is also a game, like for real, for real. But I don't know. It's just the way things are going. I try to pay attention. That way I can lead my family in the right direction. And I hope you're paying attention as well. And I hope that you make good decisions so that your family can prosper. And like for anybody that's like, I know some people are gonna call me Uncle Tom for saying it's not okay to blame, it on racism or anything like that. It's like, bro, just take accountability for your actions. Like you're in control of your life. Like if you or constantly blaming somebody else for your shortcomings, you will never win, because there are people out there like myself that when things go wrong and we fail miserably, I take full blown accountability. Like we can go in business together, right? And I could put all my money up, like every last dollar I had. I could work so hard, and you could slack in this business that we are co-partners in, and you could run the business into the ground, and I'll still take accountability. Now I might sue you. Don't get it twisted. I'm not losing my bread without a fight, but I will take accountability because I made the decision to let you in the business and you make decisions. I decided to pick you as a co-partner, and that's kind of what the students did. They chose to go in business with Sally Mae, and the whole business fell apart. You should honestly think of yourself and your family as a business. Other demographics do as well. Y'all know which demographic I'm talking about. They train them very young. They found one specific area that everybody needs. Everybody needs an attorney. Everybody needs a lawyer, right? And they ran it up. They dominated. Like they dominate that field in that industry. Just like how we play football, we're in the NBA. We dominate track and field as black people because we're pretty athletically gifted. I'm not gonna say here a lie, but like if we could just apply that in other areas, where it's important, whether it's tech, whether it's accounting, whether it's finance, that could really change our entire community. And it's just unfortunate, dog. It's just unfortunate because, like, I know there are some men out there. Like, I'm a father, I'm a dad. I just know out there in this world, bro, there is somebody that is paying, their college tuition, right? They're paying their mortgage, their car note, probably got a little credit card debt, some daycare, and then child support. Like, could you imagine paying all six of those? And your kid is still there on the weekend. You still see your kids on the weekends, but you still got to dish out child support. How are you supposed to win, right? And even not just single fathers, single mothers too. Like how are you supposed to win if the dad ran off, right? You got to pay this child support, or not child support. You got to pay your college tuition. You're paying everything because there are women out there that are doing everything by themselves. They don't have help. They can't even drop the kid off over to dad's house for a day or a weekend. None of that. Not even for lunch. They are completely by themselves, right? And then you working, and a lot of times when that happens, the people that are in this situation don't have a college degree, so they're either studying for it or they're looking to go for it, so they're paying as they go. It's just rough. You guys get the gist of it, man. Like once you throw parenting into this situation, when you're dealing with these student loans and other debts, it gets slippery, man. It gets really, really slippery. And I know, me personally, as far as our family is concerned, we make sure to prioritize our kid, which I think, it shouldn't be, it's just common sense. Like you should be prioritizing your children's future, right? And as I'm saying this, and I know I blamed the guidance counselor earlier. The guidance counselor is guilty, yes, But your parents also have a good portion of guilt in this as well, because they allowed for you to go down to the guidance counselor, get convinced that taking out these loans were a good idea, that you could actually pay these off, didn't read any of the terms and conditions, and then they just let you suffer. Like you've gotta tell your kids the game. You know, you've got to do what's best for your kid. Unfortunately, a lot of parents told their kid to go to a 4 year when you could have went to community college. I mean, it's a sad reality, and I know community college is looked down upon. People, you know, for some reason, people don't like community college, but like when you transfer to a 4 year university, the degree looks the same, right? So if you go, let's say you in Florida, you at the community college at Tampa, right, and then you transfer to Florida University for your bachelor's degree after you get your 2 year. You're going to get the same degree as the person that went for all 4 years. You're just going to have probably about 40% less debt. It's a sad reality of it. But like if your family's not looking out for you, if your parents aren't looking out for you, if they're not saying something, if they're not setting a plan for you, or even thinking critically when you're doing stuff like this, when you're signing contracts, you just get put out for slaughter, you know. And I honestly believe that there are a lot of interests. This is definitely in the best interest of the wealthy, and there are a lot of people with a lot of money in this country. Like $100, $100,000 really is not that much money. And I know people hate when broke people say that. People hate when rich people say that. It's just the truth, man. There are people out here, they have millions of dollars to their name. They can go on vacation. They can go to Disney World freaking once a month and not even feel it. Like that type of money. I don't know about you guys. I'm from Pittsburgh. I ain't never went to Disney a day in my life. My family just ain't have it like that. My sister, who's practically my mom, she raised me. She did a wonderful job raising me, right? But that just was not in the cards. And it is what it is. That also molded me. But like you have to be able to read the room. You know, I'm glad at an early age I was able to read the room and to know what cards I had, because if you start moving like these wealthy people, like these people that come from families where they're paying for college, you're paying for the not the quinceañera, what is it called, the sweet 16s, you know, like you can't try to compete with people that have like generational wealth. Like you can't compete. Like I don't know about you guys, I'm the first generation to do a lot of things, to get a decent corporate job. I'm first generation to have a child in a stable home. Like I've done a lot of things and am the first of many things in my family. So I mean, it's not discouraging. It is what it is. I'm gonna put on for the set regardless, but you have to know what you are. You know, a lot of people are acting like they're coming from wealth and they're not. Like you're broke. Like if you don't have 20K to your name, you are broke AF. Like one bad medical emergency will take you out. Like one lawsuit will take you out. Like it doesn't take much these days. Like seriously. Um, and things are gonna change, man. Things are definitely gonna change. Got to change with it. And an additional thing that bothers me with this is that like, okay, so we're taking out all this money, and the interest rates are going up and everything. Cost of living's going up, but pay isn't, right? So if you graduate from a 4 year university, you come out of college making $18, $20 an hour. That's great, but you have $100,000 in student loan debt, and then you look over to the person that's working at Walmart and Chick-fil-A. They're making $17, $18 an hour, no degree. It's like, whoa, you know? So is it really worth it? Depends what you go to school for. Depends where you come from. Depends how smart you are. Depends if you got that dog in you, if you're ambitious enough to make that degree worth it. And unfortunately, a lot of people were playing. A lot of people were playing. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, and I know that, like, like I said earlier, these student loans were set up, right? I'm lucky enough to have made the decision on my own, right? Because if my sister would have told me to not go to college and I wanted to, I still wouldn't have listened, because your boy hard-headed AF. I ain't gonna lie, you know. So I really did get lucky. Not everyone's like me, right? But it's just the way I am. If I want to do something, I'm gonna do it. No one can stop me. I have to bang my head first to learn. But I'm definitely pretty glad that I did not have to learn the hard way, because I can't imagine, man. They can garnish your wages. They can literally garnish your wages if you don't pay these back. That means what garnishing wages means, for anybody that may not know, that's when they legally tap into your paycheck. Yep. And your kids get that too. If you die with your student loans, it's now passed on to your child. Ain't that messed up? That's terrible, man. That's terrible. But yeah, man. I mean, it's all a hustle. You know what I'm saying? It's all a hustle. I feel like that's what people don't realize. And like I look at everything as a hustle. YouTube's a hustle, working's a hustle. You know, every business that's trying to sell you something, whether it's a product or a service, they're trying to get over on you because no one's doing anything for free. You know, no one likes you that much. I hate to say it. You know, like your mama might, right? But your mama can't keep the lights on unless she pays the bill. You know, it's the money doing the it's the money doing the work. You know, it's not even you. The money is pulling the favor. But like people just think that like, yeah, it'll be fine. You know, people think stuff is sweet out here. Like people won't just rip your head off your shoulders and you know throw it down the bowling alley and hit a strike. Like it's pretty ruthless and raw, and people will take advantage of you. And I've seen so many, like at this job I have, I'm a mortgage servicer for like a bank slash mortgage company. I've seen so many people get hustled and taken advantage of because we're just the money, right? So we can't protect the customer before paperwork is signed. All we do is approve the loan, offer the rate, and service and assist afterwards. So people will get cars, houses, home equity lines of credit, right? Now, yeah, like if you get a home equity line of credit or a personal loan, there is our salesperson that's there, right? And they have to do right because you're on a recorded line, everything's recorded. And for legal purposes, these banks have to do right by you when you're taking the money out. Unless there's a middleman, they can't save you. If you buy an auto loan, the middleman is the dealership, and there's two middlemen. There's the salesperson, and then there's the what do you call it? The financial advisor. I can't remember. Yeah, the financial advisor, right? Because you get to the salesperson, and when it's time to sign paperwork, you go to their financial officer. You go to their financial officer, to the finance guy, right? And he normally has glasses, and he's in his computer, and he's like, oh, okay, cool, cool. You're getting a 2023 Ford Edge. Oh, congratulations. You know, he's typing, and so you're over here sweating. You know, this is exactly me when I went to get my last car, my Ford Edge, and it's a 2018 though. But yeah, he's like, oh, great car. Hopefully you got the service, you get free oil change, blah blah blah, and then he slides over the paperwork and he gives you options, right? And so the dealer can screw you if you don't ask for a lower car payment, if you don't try to negotiate the cost of the price, if you don't try to get any additional perks like free car washes, free servicing, if you don't try to talk them down or haggle, you're going to get screwed. If you ever buy anything, if you buy anything from a salesperson, try to haggle. Everything is negotiable, especially if you have cash. And the salesperson wants to get the sale. The company or the dealership or whatever place you're going to, they're trying to get rid of the product. They're trying to get rid of the car. They're trying to get rid of the couch. So make sure you negotiate and try to work with them and try to look online and shop other places. Always try to find the best deal because if not, they'll screw you over and you'll be stuck with a car note you don't want. Once you drive it off the lot, it's yours. I think there is like a 3-day time window, or at least with my dealership, where if I didn't like the car, I could return it and I would get all my money back, including my down payment, taxes, everything. But you know, you'll really be screwed. And so I'm on the phone with people all the time where the middleman gets in the way. They get a house, they get a mortgage, right? They're not aware of how their mortgage works, but the realtor was fluffing them up about the area, the school district, all this good stuff, got them to sign the paperwork. They don't understand a lick of it. They didn't explain to them the growth that is going around town and around the city, the new school that's being built, right? So a year or 2 years later, your property taxes go up and you're like, whoa, what is this? You go from like $400 to $800. It doubles. I've seen it. All I do all day is stare at your mortgage, at your interest. I stare at your principal payment. I stare at your taxes. I just stare because all you do is just ask me questions and I shoot it right back. Just fire it off. I just fire it off. I just fire off information to people all day. And you know, people were beside themselves when they realized that a brand new high school, you know, was built, you know, 2 blocks over, 3, 4, 5 blocks over, and now their school taxes went up. You know, or there's a new bridge built or something, so now the city tax is going up. Or maybe you live in a bad area like in Florida and California, bro. The insurance companies got so sick of people's houses just getting blown away, and there's all types of insurance fraud that was going on. They were losing so much money that they had, like, people in those areas in Florida and California, they have to get special type of insurance that is very expensive and has to be from the government, because State Farm, Farmers Insurance, they don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. Geico, they're like, hell no. And I'm pretty sure that when the last hurricane hit, they were so overwhelmed. The insurance agents and the underwriters for these insurance policies, they were at 700% of their normal volume. So they were at they had 7 times the amount of reports than normal, than every single previous hurricane and severe weather event. And it was costly. There was a lot of fraud going on. The state paid, the country paid, everybody paid. The insurance company lost money. So, now it's just tough out here. But you don't think about these type of things when the realtor is smiling and you walking behind her and she got a whole dumpy 2 yams, look like they fighting, when you walking behind her. She's like, here's the bathroom. Here's the basement. When she's showing you all this and you smiling in her face, you don't realize you just signing paperwork. We're going to love this, all your kids are going to love this area, and you're just scribbling and signing. These contracts will get you every single time. It's a good idea. Contract agreements are kind of genius if you think about it. Like, it's a legally binding document, right? And these student loans were legally binding documents. If you can get someone to sign a piece of paper that you'll pay for a good or for a service over X amount of time, they can't do nothing about it. You can even garnish their wages, start taking money out their bank account legally. You can get a crappy lawyer and win the case. It'll be open and closed. They'll look, did he sign the paperwork? Okay. Yep. Looks like you got to pay. Get the Vaseline ready, bend over. Because at that point, you then have to prove in court, which is so expensive. A lot of times, it's just cheaper just to take the L than to hire a good attorney, especially with banks and Fortune 500 companies. Good luck. People trying to sue Amazon, Target, the government. These people have retainers for lawyers for days. Like, you can't compete, like, because at that point it's big bank versus little bank, and big bank gonna win every time because they have a team of highly qualified lawyers that are elite, and they can just keep paying for billable hours for almost forever unless you reach a settlement. But people don't think about that stuff, man. Like, you can't just sue these institutions. It's just delusional. It's unfortunate, but yeah, man. Let me know what you guys think about these student loans. I'm gonna hang out here with y'all for like 13 more minutes. I'm gonna go an hour strong since it's my first live. Like I said, man, you got to prove that the contract is damn near illegal. That's how bad the contract's got to be. And in order for a judge to overturn a legal document that you sign, that contract's got to be so bad. Like, it's got to be damn near predatory. And the longer the term, meaning the longer that you make the payments, the less predatory it is. And they do make it really clear, but like, with these Sally Mae loans, with these mortgages, business loans, you'll have, man, there'd be pages for days, dog. Like, these documents, like some of these mortgages, because that's what I do all day. Like I said, my name's E-Man. People be like, E-Man, my mortgage is messed up. I'd be like, all right, let me check it out. Let me see what's up. And they're like, I didn't agree to this. So I have to read all 64 pages. Well, not all 64, but I look through the table of contents, of course, because I'm not an idiot. But I have to sort through 64 pages of legal documents sometimes to find a clause in a paragraph that shows that you are supposed to do X, Y, and Z, and that this is legal, and that you pretty much signed it. So too bad, so sad. Of course, you sprinkle a little sugar in there because their feelings are hurt, rightfully so. I've been in a situation like that where I signed a bad contract for a vehicle. I was 19, didn't know no better. But that's the way the game go. There ain't nothing you could do about it. Speaking of that, I'll tell that story. I was 19 years old, man. Just graduated high school, was feeling myself after summer. I was 18, sorry. I was 18 years old. Just graduated high school. I was feeling myself in the summer. And there was this notorious car dealership in my city. Everybody, we'll call it Bob's Motors because I ain't trying to get a lawsuit. Puma, stop that scratching. Cat driving me crazy. So I'm at, like I said earlier, I used to work in restaurants. I'm at work telling everybody I'm about to get this car. I'm like, yeah, man, I'm about to go to Bob Motors. They're like, don't do it. Don't go to Bob's Motors. They be scamming people. They be taking, beaters and clapped out cars and just be, spray painting the bumper and, giving it a quick buff and wax and, giving you a contract with a high interest rate in it. They have a very high turnover rate as far as customers. That means they give you the car and you give it back. I ain't listen. I took my sister, right, which took my sister because she's older than me. My sister's 25 years older than me, guys, which she admits that this was a mistake on her behalf. This was a Hyundai Tiburon. The year was it was a 2001 Hyundai Tiburon. It was red, two doors. It was still a V4, still a V4 cylinder, but it looked so cool, guys. And it looks great. I love the car. It was real low. It was a coupe, man. And so I test drove it and I wanted to look at other cars. And I think my sister was just being impatient. She was just like, "This is good. This is the car." And I was like, "Oh, we shouldn't go to no other dealership, test drive no other car." She was like, "No, we should just get this one." The car had like 120. No, I had more than that. I had like 150,000 miles on it, and they wanted $7,000, and I financed it. So, and I had no credit, so because she wouldn't co-sign, and rightfully so. Never co-sign a loan because stuff happens, and I was young. If I would have messed up, then she would have been legally responsible. But yeah, anyway, so I bought this car, man, and it broke down like three times in like a month. And then like I took my car to a buddy that worked at a car detail shop. So that's all he does is buff wax cars, repair the paint, like everything. So he knows all about like, blending paint and everything, the whole nine. So I take it to him because, I wanted to show off my car and I knew he would be able to tell me if had a good deal or not. And also I wanted for him to buff and wax it. So he's buffing and waxing the car, bro. And he's like, dude, there's no clear coat on your car. I was like, what's clear coat? He's like, it's the protective film over your paint so it doesn't get damaged. And then he was like, that's the first thing. And he was like, the second thing is, he's like, these two paint colors don't really match. So the Hyundai Tiburon was like a dark red, and they tried getting like a burgundy red for the hood. So they clearly painted over it, didn't add no clear coat. And then, there were engine issues with this car as well. I took my car to a mechanic like the second time it broke down. And dude was like, bro, what are these wires coming out of your engine? And he's like, I've never seen this before a day in my life. Like they jerry rigged this up real nice. And I'm like, what? And then it broke down a third time. And you know what, man? My sister, I was pretty upset. And I was like, I don't know what to do with this car. Because I was calling them. I was calling them already the previous two times it broke down. I was in the office, spending lots of time in the office, and they were dilly dallying. They were giving me the okey doke in the office, and they were making me sit there intentionally because they were trying to figure out what to do because they screwed me over, but it wasn't long enough to the point to where it was too late, right? Because they have lemon laws in Pennsylvania. You can't just give someone a piece of crap vehicle that is hot garbage and make them pay for the high and then keeps breaking down because that's the third breakdown in like a month. That's not acceptable for a car dealership. So yeah, long story short, my sister just ended up just cursing them out and was like, we're gonna call the BBB, we're gonna call the attorney general, we're gonna call the news. And you know what, they let me drop the car back off, and she told them and if you get direct with people, you'll be shocked. Like, yeah, she was screaming on the phone, which is not a good way to handle business, but hey, I got to take the car back. I did not get my down payment back though, or my car payments, but they took it off my credit score, which is fair enough. But looking back, that car was probably worth a good $1,200, and they sold it to me for probably like 11. Because I signed the contract. Like these contracts are deadly. They can be good sometimes. If you come from a trusted, if you're doing business with a trusted name brand or a trusted business, it can be beneficial, but sometimes it's just a wolf in sheep's clothing. I had, like I mentioned earlier, I had a tech support job for Comcast, and I'm not sure if you guys have ever had internet services. If you sign a contract, you get a discount. You get more money shaved off the original price, by you signing the contract for 1 year or for 2 years, right? But what they don't tell you inside the contract is after that 1 or 2 years, there's an increase inside your bill, right? So your internet for gig internet speed for a gig up, gig down will be like, I don't know, like it'd be like $80, $80, $90 if you're in a contract for like a year or two. And so the second that contract's over, it shoots up to like 140, right? And in some areas, you can only choose one cable internet home phone provider. So after you sign the contract, you're in what they call everyday pricing once the contract is over. Everyday pricing is when it goes up. I used to talk to people about this too. Having customer service jobs and working different jobs in general allows you to understand the way stuff works. And so people would be upset about their bill being 140 when it was just $84.90. But there's nothing that they can do because once you go into everyday pricing and your contract's over, you can't go into another contract. You're now stuck with everyday pricing, right? And in some areas, you can't choose anything but Comcast or anything but Verizon or whatever your cable company is. One workaround for that though is if you have someone else in your house, you can rotate, right? So let's say it's me and my girl. Well, not let's say it is me and my girl. So me and my girl, we didn't sign no contract, of course. We ain't signed no contract. Well, if we were to sign a contract and get cable service and internet, or even just for internet, you can rotate. So you could put her name in 1 or 2 years for the contract, right? You go into everyday pricing after the second or third year, and then you put it in my name, right? And then so since it's in my name, we could be like, oh yeah, you call the freaking cable or internet company. You'd be like, oh yeah, they moved out. They don't know that you didn't move out. They can't pull records to show that you did or did not move out, unless you have the same last name. And so if you have two different last names, they can't prove it. So it looks like two different people are moving out every 2 years. And the customer service team and the sales team really isn't going to check. And the sales team definitely isn't going to check or say anything because then you get a sale. So why would you say anything? You lost the sale now. So that's a workaround for that. And that works for a couple other industries as well. But, you got to find a way to get over. Because if you don't take the opportunity to get ahead, someone else will take that opportunity in your face and smile, and then they'll run off into the sunset. Like for real, like you got to be an opportunist out here, and that's what the government did. That's what the high schools did. That's what the colleges did. That's what the like so many people are getting paid like off of this student loan debt. Like so many people are feeding their families, which I'm not hating on the people that are processing these student loans, servicing these loans, the people that work for Sally Mae and for the government. Get your money, but like just know that they're making it off of you. Like everything is a hustle. Like no, very rarely will people do anything for you for nothing. Like seriously. And it's not a favor. These loans are not a favor. It's not from love. They're trying to run a play. Everything is a hustle, like I said, man. And yeah, man, I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. I'm gonna end it here shortly. I just wanted to go an hour strong and see how this would go, and I wanted to just talk about this situation. And I ain't gonna lie, man. It's unfortunate, but when the cows walk in, when the cows walk in single file, you got to turn the machine on and get the saw going so you can get steaks. Steaks got to come from somewhere, and they coming from y'all. No disrespect. I wish I went to college. I ain't gonna lie. I would love to see what money I would make with a bachelor's or a bachelor's or master's degree. I would probably be running it up. I'm not gonna lie. And I'm pretty grateful for the way everything played out, even though I didn't go to college. My background, as far as me being raised in my childhood, is very unorthodox. I came from a very bad area. Had a death in the family. My beautiful mother died, and so I had to live with my sister. Like I said earlier, that's why she's like a mom to me. And in the area, the area that I used to live in, all the way up to the age of like I think it was like 10 or 11. That area and that town, that small city probably would have either got me in jail or probably would've got me killed because, like I said, I'm ambitious. I'm a very ambitious person. I'm a hustler myself. You know, not in the way of selling drugs, but I figure out how to build things, how to sell things, how to, get opportunities, how to leverage things. That's like what I'm interested in. It's interesting to me. And I feel like if I would have lived in that area, I would have been much worse off because the only way for me to get that money would have been doing things that are illegal. I do not promote criminal activity. I think it's stupid, especially in this day and age, because we have our cell phones on us. They'll ping your phone from a cell tower. You don't have to be connected to Wi-Fi. They'll have your text messages, your FaceTime. Like, y'all make it very easy for these lawyers. We have Ring cameras now. Everyone has regular cameras. Everyone has smartphones. It's endless. Like everything has a camera on it or records audio. So like, why break the law, bro? But I am glad that everything worked out the way it worked out, and I'm glad I didn't go to college. Um, but yeah, I mean, this is just the beginning, man. This is just the beginning. I do respect education. Once again, kids, please do go to college. If anyone is watching this that is under the age of 18, this isn't me bashing academia. You have to go to college for certain jobs, but if you aren't sure, if you aren't confident, you should probably think 12 times before signing the paperwork. If you have a wooden spoon in your mouth and you don't have a full ride and no clue how to pay it, you should probably get your CDL first, learn a trade, learn something, and then come back and sign the paperwork. Once you got some years under your belt. Like I just it's mind blowing. Like signing a $100,000 contract at the age of 17, 18 years old. Crazy. 19 years old. You don't know anything about the world. You don't know anything. You didn't even take out a credit card, man. You didn't start a business. You didn't fail at starting a business. You didn't get a corporate job. You didn't, like you're still wet behind the ears, bro. Like it's kind of wild. I think about that sometimes, like how much I truly don't know. And if I were to tell, if I could give younger me all the game in the world, I'd be like, "Psh, shut up, old man, old ninja. This old ninja talking to me, man, bro. Go worry about your 401k. All right, like I would not be, I would not be trying to hear a single word of it, like at all. But yeah, man, thank you so much for watching here, guys. Yeah, Joe Biden did a play. The government did a play. Everybody was in on the play and on the joke. Except for the people that signed it. But that's kind of what happens, man. It's kind of what happens. Hope you guys have a great day. Thanks so much for watching. It's one of my first successful lives. Um, I just wanted to cover this because contracts are powerful. And like this is the only, and this is my closing statement. Contracts are very powerful. People don't understand the power of a legally binding document. And I don't think that they presented the Sallie Mae loans as being one that you can't escape from or run away from. And unfortunately, there are some people in this world that think that they can sign legally binding documents without consequences, without them digging into your credit score, without them putting a lien on your house, without the debt being passed on to your children, and etc. Right? It took for me to learn that. I had to work for multiple different companies over the course. Hey, babe, you close the door real quick, please? I had to work for multiple different companies and then work for a bank for me to understand the power of a contract. And one of the most dangerous parts about the contract is that the person that's giving it to you, has lawyers at the ready. And one of the biggest companies, biggest businesses is the feds, guys. You do not want the feds on your back. You don't want court. You don't want to have to get an attorney to represent you because he's only in it for the money. A lot of times the lawyer and the judge, they be working together. They know each other. They went to college together. They've been seeing each other for I don't know how long. The prosecutor and the defense attorney, they're probably buddies, probably golf. Like they're fighting. They're fighting for your future, pretty much your financial future. It could be with your family, it could be for whatever. They're fighting for your future in court for sport. Like when these lawyers leave, um when these lawyers are done with your case and they leave, they get to go home and sleep with their families. You might go to prison, you might lose your house, You might lose your business. You might lose your car. There are so many different type of attorneys. You may lose everything. And when they're done with you, all the hours that they worked, they're not going to discount those billable hours. They're going to charge you to the max. And they're completely unaffected by it. Not only are they unaffected by it, you're a come up, you're a meal ticket. So yeah, guys, stay out of court, man. Don't try to sue people for legally binding documents with these large Fortune 500 companies, with the government, with the city. It just ain't worth it, man. They got it on retainer. They got it on lock. You know, unless you got a lawyer in your family, I don't recommend it. Unless you're balling, you know, because you gonna have to pay. It is what it is. Money is power. There was a lot of money involved in these Sallie Mae loans, um, and it's kind of crazy. Like, I feel like it was almost as if they were like insulting people's intelligence because nobody put two and two together and it got so normalized. Like, taking out these student loans were trendy, you know. It's like, oh yeah, I'm going to college, you know. And the college experience looked great. I did a video about this like 2 years ago on, you know, missing out on the college experience. But you know, I'm glad I didn't go because, you know, I would have got lost in the life, you know, the life of drinking, all the girls, the football games, you know, because when you're taking a tour of these colleges, they leverage the lifestyle that goes with college, the college experience. That's what they call it, the college experience. You know, and me personally, I lived the college experience because there's a popular college in our city in downtown Pittsburgh. We had this thing called the South Side, and we would be partying right along with all the college students. They were the same age. You know, I was just paying for where I live, and you know that was pretty much that. I was going to school too. You know, I did take some courses. I just never finished my degree because it just never seemed worth it. And I was taking all these classes I didn't need, and I was like, you know what, I'm done. I'm done here. But yeah, man, the power of contracts, respect it. Be aware. You know, if you don't know, pay an attorney, or not an attorney, pay a paralegal on the side to read some paperwork. Accountants are pretty good at reading the legal documents. You know, find someone that's knowledgeable in reading legal documents and reading, you know, paperwork, because if you don't understand, you will pay for it dearly. The highest cost you could possibly pay, you will pay. So, yeah, man, I'm out. Y'all have a good day. Went 1 hour and 6 minutes strong on the live. Appreciate you guys for checking in. All 0 of you. I'll holla at y'all later.